I'm Nathan Hicken, and welcome to Tales from the Murder Museum. Not all exhibits are alike inside the Murder Museum. Some are so inconspicuous that you might walk by without even noticing it was there at all. Some are large enough that they act as labyrinths of their own. Some are simple mysteries with one-note villains, while others are complex odysseys of betrayal and mystery. And some are dangerous. In one particular corner of the museum, behind a locked door with thick iron and silver chains, lies a small exhibit. In the center of the dark cave-like room stands a stone dais. On top of the dais are a series of postcards. Postcard 1. Sent May 23, 1954. Delivered June 8, 1954. Dear Ivo, Paris hasn't changed much since we got kicked out of the Louvre 3 years ago. I'm still miffed that the security guard didn't see the archaeological merit of taking a rubbing of the Dendera Zodiac. I mean, we hardly got any charcoal on the thing at all. My mother would have been proud of us for trying, though. Anyway, as you've been ignoring my calls, you're no doubt wondering why I'm in Paris. Well, the reason I'm back is because I finally tracked down the only surviving reproduction of Isidora's The Audience. If you've read any of my letters for the last year, you would know that it's a reproduction of an ancient Greek painting surrounding a particular occult goddess, Melinoë. According to my mother's notes, this painting supposedly contains directions to the lost Temple of Melinoë, which is only the thing my mother obsessed over for the last 20 years of her life. The painting is being shown at a small estate sale following the death of a remaining aristocrat, Lord Weitzel, I believe. A Dr. Aaron Hertz has been gracious enough to grant me a private viewing. The invitation to join me is still open. Paris has got to be more exciting than working in the National Archives. Where's that Moxley sense of adventure? Hoping to see you soon, Devs. Postcard 2. Sent May 23, 1954. Delivered June 8, 1954. Ivo, this painting is a masterpiece. Even as a replica, it's beautiful. I wish you could be here to see it. I'd say circa 1550s if you want to put money on it. It depicts a variety of mythological scenes all surrounding the goddess Melinoë. The real question here is, how well do you know Greek mythology? Actually, scratch that. I seem to remember you spending most of our mythology course in university using the textbook as a pillow. Well, luckily for both you and me, Dr. Hertz and Mother are experts. Melinoë is of course a Numen, a divine being with a mysterious mission. There is of course the Numen of murder, of witchcraft, of cryptids, but Melinoë's Numen responsibility still remains elusive. My mother speculated that hers was the dream realm, which makes sense as the scene seemed to depict a dreamlike state. But Dr. Hertz seems to believe that Melinoë had more to do with the realm of wish fulfillment. There are 7 scenes which tell the tale of a worshipper who summons Melinoë and is then cast into a dream realm where they encounter all sorts of creatures before returning to reality, glowing. The center panel is the most arresting, with the goddess, who we assume is Melinoë, being summoned inside a marble chamber by some sort of ceremony. The worshipper is holding an offering before a great precipice. Circumscribing all 7 panels is a wheel of symbols. The symbols are quite arcane and foreign to me, but I've seen a wheel like this once before, in my mother's notes about a Greek tomb in ancient Massilia. And that's where I'm heading next. If you're game, I'd love to see you there. Come on, the south of France will do that pale complexion of yours some good. Still your friend, Devs. P.S. There are scraps of text in Romanian scribbled across the edge of the painting. I've copied down some words I found if you wanted to take a look. You were always the genius when it came to Romance languages, though that didn't really help either of us much with our romantic pursuits. Postcard 3. Sent May 28, 1954. Delivered June 14, 1954. Ivo, I have once again found myself trapped inside a broom closet. Don't worry, it's roomier than the sarcophagus at your parents' manor, but it does make writing this somewhat awkward. Let me explain. The broom closet of my temporary residence is currently 20 feet away from the tomb of Aristoxene, one of the founders of Massilia, or Marseille as it is called nowadays. The actual tomb is usually on display along with the stone tablet that rests on top of the marble casket. That stone tablet also happens to be the one with the aforementioned symbol wheel. While the tomb was at one point open to the public, as evidenced by my mother's notes, it now sits in the hands of a private collector who refused me and Dr. Hertz admittance. Oh, yes, Dr. Hertz is still with me. More on her later. So we hatched a plan to sneak in after hours. I know I promised you and the law enforcement that I wouldn't stick around anymore after the library, but we're so close. The plan was to get in, take a rubbing of the stone tablet with the circle, and get out. Dr. Hertz threw the first wrench in the plan when she refused to enter. She was too, quote, nervous, and so was instead standing watch from the back alley, pacing, well, technically limping back and forth. I ventured in alone and stumbled my way to the center tomb. I'd just pulled out my paper and charcoal when I heard the front door crash open. Without thinking, I grabbed the tablet and ran into the nearest door, where I'm currently getting to spend some quality time with the bucket. I can still hear footsteps and quiet murmuring echoing through the tomb. Who these people are, guards or fellow felons, I can only guess. Until they're gone, or until Dr. Hertz comes to find me, I'm stuck in a bucket with a Greek tablet and a postcard. Hopefully Dr. Hertz is smart enough not to get caught. Just picture our old headmaster with a dash of neuroticism. She was apparently friends with my mother in the years before the war, and in the years before my mother died. And that's how Dr. Hertz got interested in Melinoë in the first place. Her horse-headed cane creeps me out, though. I really hope I get out of here soon. The footsteps are getting closer. I'd really prefer not to spend the next few nights in a French jail cell. Besides, only one of us can be the jailbird, right? Apprehensively yours, Devs. Postcard 4. Sent May 29th, 1954. Delivered June 16th, 1954. Ivo, I think I'm being followed. After returning from my jaunt to Aristophanes' tomb, I found my hotel room ransacked, with all of my mother's papers stolen, along with all of my notes on the audience. Dr. Hertz is nowhere to be found, and now I have to start everything from scratch. Thankfully, I have the tablet and the symbols committed to memory. I copied down everything I could remember and fled for the docks. I didn't want to be in there in case whoever it was decided to come back. I sail for one of the Mediterranean islands at dawn, but I worry that it's too late. I swear I can feel someone's eye on me as I write this. Things moving in the shadows, getting closer to me. I'm begging you to come. I don't know who else I can trust now. I'm seriously rattled. Please come soon. Devs. Postcard 5. Sent June 5th, 1954. Delivered June 28th, 1954. Ivo, oh, I'm going mad. I can hear footsteps outside my cabin at night, eyes appearing in the portal by my bunk, tentacles creep over the edges of my bed. I haven't slept in 33 hours, and when I do, it's full of strange images. Unseen monsters chasing me through the woods, endless following, horrible dreamscapes, nightmares, really. I swear the tablet is glowing out of the corner of my eye, but when I look directly at it, nothing. And the constant rocking of the boat. Oh, I can barely concentrate enough to write this. Humans were not meant to be on water. Oh, through the bouts of temporary insanity, I've been trying to recreate my mother's notes, as well as trying to use the tablet to decipher the painting. The final destination is on the next island, of that I'm certain. What I'm less certain of is if I'll make it. I see endless blue waves, and here I am stuck in a tin can bobbing in a careless sea. Oh, but if I close my eyes, I can almost hear my mother's voice calling me closer. I'm nearly there, I know. I just wish you were here. Yours in sleep deprivation, Devs. Postcard 6. Sent June 8th, 1954. Delivered July 2nd, 1954. Ivo, look, I'm sorry about what happened at the library. I didn't mean for you to get all the blame. I didn't mean for you to get expelled from university. I didn't mean to lose my best friend. I was an idiot. We both were. I need you. I just wish I could know if you've gotten any of these blasted postcards. You know that dealing with uncertainty was never one of my strong suits. At least this one will be sent once again from dry land, as I've finally made it off that forsaken boat. I know you can figure out where I am, but I can't go back. Not now. Not when I have to beat whoever is following me to the temple. I'm close. I've cracked the tablet, and with that, the symbol wheel around the painting. Using those descriptions, I believe I know the final resting place of the Temple of Melinoë. If you ever counted me as a friend, then you'd come find me. Hopefully yours in friendship, Devs. Postcard 7. Sent August 9th, 1956. Delivered August 23rd, 1956. Curse this blasted candle. It's the only light I have left, yet its wax keeps dripping over my fingers while the smoke makes it difficult to concentrate. But Ivo, I found it. The temple. There's so much to explain in very, very little time. Let me try while my burned fingers allow. The entrance to the temple was hidden inside a marble quarry by a rock waterfall. Equipped with just a pack of supplies, I entered the labyrinthine tunnels, carefully marking the walls with candle smoke so I could tell where I'd been. I will spare you the more horrid details, if only for the sake of my own sanity, but the deeper I went, the more the shadows seemed to claw at my light, desperate to extinguish it. Creatures of darkness skittered across the dripping walls as a low moaning reverberated through the tunnels. After what felt like an eternity, I finally emerged into the antechamber of the temple, where two marble doors stood, one leading further inside and the other to certain death. The doors were both depicted in the painting, and thus I was able to choose the correct one, but even without that, I would trust that you would have been able to figure it out. As I stepped through the door, I came upon the chamber portrayed in the center panel of Isadore's The Audience. Except, I was no longer alone. There, slumped in the middle of the stone floor, surrounded by glowing sigils, was Dr. Hertz, her cane dropped next to her. I ran to her, but as I neared, a low wind built into a shriek, and her skin started to glow. All at once her eyes snapped open, glowing a deep turquoise. She began to rise from the floor, mouth open in a scream, nightmares dripping from her fingers. Her limp gone, she took a clanking step towards me, and I ran. I ran until I couldn't see for anything for the darkness. In a flash, everything came to a sudden halt as I crashed into something. I must have blacked out, for in dreams I saw horrors. Ivo, I cannot describe what I witnessed. I only pray that those images will not be what haunts me as I take my last breath. Even now I can hear them coming. Footsteps, clanking, slithering. I crawled away as best I could, but I can't go any farther. They're getting closer. And in a moment I will be alone in the darkness of Melinoë's temple, trapped inside this new one's realm of mystery and ether. I've no way of knowing whether this will ever reach you, whether you will ever know what happened to me, whether you will believe any of this anyway. I just need you to know this one thing. Stay away. Stay away from Melinoë. Stay away from this temple, from everything. Because my mother was so wrong. I was wrong. This goddess isn't the Newman of dreams. No. Melinoë is the Newman of nightmares. Note: this final postcard was found deep in a marble mine in 1956 and sent on to the recipient. Next to the postcard was a small stub of candle wax and a cane with a silver horse head covered in blood. The postcards lie undisturbed in the lone spotlight of that exhibit, unvisited for years in the vast halls of the Murder Museum, forgotten by all, except one. For the chains holding the door closed fall to the ground, and standing in the doorway is a woman in a scarlet A-line dress with an obsidian necklace.